My beloved child, listen carefully. This message did not come to entertain you. It came to interrupt your delay. Just moments ago, Archangel Michael stood where decisions are sealed, where numbers become destiny, where silence hides transfers that change bloodlines. And what he saw there caused even heaven to pause. A check, already cleared, already authorized, was quietly deposited in your name. Not symbolic, not future tense. It has already happened in the spiritual realm. But here is the warning that shook the atmosphere. If this message is ignored, if this moment is delayed, if you close this now thinking, "I'll come back later," it will be reassigned. There are systems, both earthly and spiritual, that do not wait forever. And tonight, Archangel Michael is not speaking gently. He is speaking urgently. This check was not created by luck. It was not triggered by effort alone. It was released because a season closed, and another one opened with your name on it. For years you were overlooked. For years you watched others receive what you prayed for. For years, it felt like your obedience was invisible. But heaven was auditing everything. Every tear you wiped away in silence. Every time you chose integrity over shortcuts. Every night you asked God, "When will it be my turn?" This deposit is a response. And here is why the timing matters more than ever. There is a woman connected to your environment, your finances, or your past, who has been quietly blocking access. Not through force, but through influence. Not openly, but strategically. Her exposure is already in motion, and when it happens, control shifts instantly. That is why Archangel Michael left the bank in shock. Because the transfer did not happen after the exposure, it happened before. Which means heaven is trusting you to move now, not later. This is not just about money. The check represents authority, restoration, and acceleration. What was delayed for years is about to compress into months. What took others decades will come to you swiftly, but only if you respond when called. And let me be clear about this next part. There is a window attached to this message. Not to scare you, but to awaken you. Some blessings are permanent. Others are conditional. This one requires recognition. It requires agreement. It requires you to say, "I see it. I receive it. I'm ready." That is why this message found you, and not someone else. You were not scrolling randomly. You were summoned. Archangel Michael does not announce every deposit. He only intervenes when interference is detected. And interference was detected around your name. Someone else has been watching what was meant for you, assuming you would hesitate. Assuming you would doubt. Assuming you would minimize this moment like you've done before. But heaven is changing that pattern right now. Do not rush past this. Do not treat this as another video. There is instruction layered inside this revelation, and if you catch it, everything changes. Your obedience in the next short season will determine who handles the check. You or them. And before you asked, "Why me?" understand this. You survived what was meant to disqualify you. You stayed faithful when leaving would have been easier. You didn't compromise when others did. So now, heaven is compensating you quietly, but powerfully. In the next moments, I'm going to reveal what opening this check actually requires, and why hesitation has already cost others their portion. This is where many people lose it, not because they are unworthy, but because they underestimate the moment. Stay alert. Stay open. And whatever you do, do not disconnect now. My cherished one, breathe and listen, because what I am about to reveal now is not common knowledge. It is spiritual protocol. Many people lose what was prepared for them not because they sinned, not because they were unworthy, but because they did not understand how heaven confirms a transfer. Archangel Michael is not only a warrior, he is a guardian of order. When something is released with your name on it, there is a process that must be honored, or the system flags it as unclaimed. This is why this message feels heavy in your spirit. You may not fully understand it yet, but something inside you recognizes the urgency. That is not fear. That is alignment activating. The reason this check was quietly deposited is because public announcements attract interference. Heaven learned long ago that some blessings must move in silence until the rightful owner becomes aware. And awareness is not passive. Awareness is agreement. The moment you say within yourself, "This is for me," the spiritual seal strengthens. But when you hesitate, when you doubt, when you say, "Let me think about it later," the seal weakens. This is not punishment, it is law. Archangel Michael operates under divine law, not emotion. That is why he appeared shocked, not by the amount, but by the timing. Because the timing reveals that you are being trusted earlier than expected. There are others watching the same opportunity. They have similar prayers, similar needs, similar desires, but they do not have your obedience history. They do not have your endurance record. They did not stay when you stayed. And yet, if you delay, the system does not argue, it reallocates. That is why this message is confrontational in love. You have been trained by life to downplay good news. You have learned to say, "I'll believe it when I see it." But heaven does not work that way. You see it after you agree with it. Faith is not denial of reality. It is recognition of a higher one. Archangel Michael is standing at attention because he is waiting for your response. Not your perfection. Not your understanding. Your response. And here is the part most people miss. Opening this check does not require effort. It requires position. You must be willing to step out of the mindset that says, "I always miss my moment." That mindset is expired. It belonged to an older version of you that survived scarcity. But survival season is ending, and stewardship season is beginning. This is why responsibility is tied to this blessing. What is coming to you will not only change your comfort, it will change your capacity to help others. That is why the transfer is large. It is not indulgence. It is assignment. And heaven does not place assignments in the hands of people who panic under pressure. You have been tested quietly, consistently, and thoroughly. You passed. And now, let me speak directly to your actions in this moment. When you engage with this message, when you like it, when you share it, when you comment in agreement, you are not feeding an algorithm. You are signaling alignment. You are saying, "I am present. I am attentive. I am participating." This is why it matters to support what is feeding you spiritually. Subscribing, staying connected, joining the deeper circle of those who receive regularly. This is not about numbers. It is about positioning yourself where instruction continues to flow. Those who stay connected do not miss updates. Those who disconnect often say later, "I didn't know." And heaven does not rewind seasons. If this message is stirring you, acknowledge it. If it resonates, say so. If you know someone who has been praying for a breakthrough but feels overlooked, share this with them. Obedience often looks like small actions with eternal consequences. Now listen closely to this next truth. The woman connected to the blockage is already losing leverage. Her influence is fading. What she used to control through delay, confusion, or quiet resistance is being exposed, not loudly, but effectively. When that exposure completes, access opens fully. This is why the check could not wait until after. It had to be secured before the exposure, so it could not be contested. You are protected. But protection does not replace participation. There is a reason you are still here, still listening, still feeling the pull to continue. Something in you knows this is not the moment to walk away. This is the moment to lean in. Because what comes next will clarify exactly how to stay in position and how to prevent reassignment. Hold on, because what is unfolding next connects a pattern from your past to a decision you are about to make, and once you see it, you will never look at delay the same way again. My precious one, this is the moment where many hearts begin to race, not because of fear, but because recognition is awakening. What you are sensing right now is the memory of promises you almost gave up on. Promises you buried under responsibility, disappointment, and the pressure to be realistic. Archangel Michael is drawing those memories back to the surface, not to reopen wounds, but to prove something powerful to you. Let they were forgotten. You may think certain years were wasted. You may believe some prayers expired because too much time passed. But heaven does not measure time the way you do. Heaven measures readiness. And readiness is not about speed. It is about formation. You were being shaped to carry what is now being released. That is why this check feels overwhelming. Not because you cannot handle abundance, but because abundance requires a new identity. Scarcity trains you to hold tightly. Provision trains you to distribute wisely. And the truth is, you were never meant to simply survive. You were meant to become a source. That is why the amount is large. It reflects reach, not ego. Archangel Michael knows your history. He knows how many times you were close to breakthrough and something fell apart at the last moment. He knows how many times you told yourself, I will get my hopes up again. But this time is different, because this release is not based on hope. It is based on completion. A cycle has ended. The reason the check was deposited quietly is because celebration comes later. First comes confirmation. First comes alignment. First comes the inner shift where you stop seeing yourself as someone who waits and start seeing yourself as someone who receives. And here is the uncomfortable truth that must be spoken in love. Some of the delays in your life were not attacks. They were mercy. If certain doors had opened earlier, they would have crushed you. If certain resources had arrived before your character was fortified, they would have distracted you. God was not withholding from you. God was protecting what was meant to last. And now you are strong enough to carry it. This is why Archangel Michael is involved. He is not sent for minor adjustments. He is dispatched when assignments escalate, when authority increases, when spiritual rank shifts. His presence means you are entering a higher level of responsibility, visibility, and influence, even if it begins quietly. But there is still a choice in front of you. You must release the version of yourself that expects loss. You must stop rehearsing disappointment as a form of self-protection. Because the greatest threat to this transfer is not an enemy. It is familiarity with struggle. If you subconsciously expect something to go wrong, you will hesitate at the very moment heaven is asking you to step forward. That is why this message keeps calling you back to attention. Heaven is watching your response, not to test you, but to partner with you. And let me say this clearly, because it matters deeply. This blessing is clean. It carries no sorrow, no manipulation, no hidden cost. It will not pull you away from God. It will anchor you deeper. It will not isolate you. It will connect you to purpose. It will not inflate your ego. It will humble you with gratitude. You are not receiving this because you are better than others. You are receiving it because you stayed when leaving would have been justified. And now, as this part of the message completes, there is a spiritual action being invited, not demanded, but invited. Agreement seals alignment. Declaration strengthens possession. When you respond, you are not convincing God, you are convincing yourself that you are ready. So if this is speaking to your spirit, do not stay silent. Type "I receive the transfer" in the comments if you are ready to step into what has been released. Blessing code 939 is now activated. As this revelation settles in your spirit, hear this gently but clearly. What you just received did not come to you alone. It came through a channel chosen to carry God's voice to many who are still waiting. The Lord says, as you sow into this word, I will cause rivers to flow where drought once ruled. When you support this mission through Super Thanks membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are placing oil on the fire of souls being awakened right now. I am speaking to those who feel the urgency. This is not a donation. It is a prophetic response. Your seed becomes light for someone still in darkness, manna for someone on the verge of giving up. I bless every giver with multiplied harvest and divine acceleration. Obey now. Release your seed and watch heaven respond. My dear one, now that agreement has been spoken and alignment has been sealed, something subtle but powerful begins to shift. This is the phase most people never talk about because it happens quietly, internally, and without applause. Archangel Michael is not standing in front of crowds right now. He is standing beside you, watching how you think, how you interpret signs, and how you respond to the unfamiliar peace that is settling in. That peace is important. It is the evidence that fear is losing authority. For a long time, your nervous system was trained by uncertainty. You learned to stay alert, to expect sudden reversals, to prepare for disappointment even in moments of joy. That constant vigilance once kept you safe. But now, it is no longer needed. And heaven knows that the hardest transitions are not from lack to abundance, but from anxiety to trust. This is why the days ahead may feel strangely quiet. Do not mistake silence for stagnation. Silence is often the sound of systems rearranging. Behind what you can see, contracts are shifting, permissions are being rewritten, and access points are opening. You may notice people speaking differently to you, responding faster, or offering help without being asked. These are not coincidences. These are confirmations. The environment always adjusts when someone's internal status changes. Archangel Michael oversees boundaries, and one of the first boundaries being restored is your sense of worth. You are no longer negotiating from need. You are no longer pleading for recognition. You are stepping into rooms knowing that you belong there, even if no one says it out loud yet. This confidence will feel new. At times, it may even feel uncomfortable. You might catch yourself thinking, why do I feel calm about this? Or why am I not panicking like I used to? That is because the old alarms are being dismantled. Heaven is removing survival reflexes that would interfere with stewardship. And stewardship requires clarity. Let me prepare you for something important. As momentum builds, you may experience a brief test, not a setback, but a contrast. Something small may appear delayed. Someone may question you. An old doubt may resurface unexpectedly. This is not a sign of reversal. It is the final echo of an expired pattern trying to regain relevance. Do not engage it. Do not overanalyze it. Do not give it a voice. Archangel Michael does not fight shadows. He enforces truth. And the truth is that what has been authorized cannot be unauthorized. The check does not disappear because of momentary noise. It only becomes contested when the receiver doubts their right to it. And you are done doubting. You have crossed a threshold, and thresholds are not crossed twice. Once you move forward, the door behind you closes automatically. That is mercy. That is protection. That is how heaven prevents you from retreating into familiar pain. You may also notice a new sensitivity developing. Certain conversations will feel heavy. Certain environments will feel draining. Certain compromises will suddenly feel impossible. This is not arrogance. This is discernment sharpening. When capacity increases, tolerance for misalignment decreases. You are not becoming difficult. You are becoming precise. Archangel Michael is recalibrating your discernment so that you can recognize what deserves your attention and what no longer does. Time is becoming more valuable to you because you subconsciously know that momentum is building. You are beginning to think in terms of stewardship rather than survival, and that shift alone will save you years. Let me speak to the waiting that still remains. Yes, there are steps unfolding. Yes, there are processes completing. But waiting no longer means uncertainty. It means expectancy. There is a difference. Uncertainty drains you. Expectancy steadies you. One feels like standing on shaky ground. The other feels like standing at a gate that is about to open. This is why impatience must be avoided now. Rushing is just another form of fear. You do not need to force anything. You do not need to convince anyone. What is assigned to you will recognize you. What belongs with you will align naturally. What is not meant to come forward will fall away without struggle. Grace is increasing. And with it, responsibility. You will soon be entrusted with decisions that affect others. This is why integrity is being emphasized so strongly in this season. Small choices will matter. Quiet decisions will echo. How you treat people who cannot benefit you will become especially important because heaven watches that closely. Not to judge you, but to measure readiness. You are ready. What readiness must be maintained. So stay grounded. Stay thankful. Stay attentive. Do not announce everything you sense. Some things are meant to mature in silence before they are shared. Archangel Michael understands timing better than anyone, and he is teaching you the same wisdom now. As you move forward, remember this: peace is your indicator. If peace remains, you are in alignment. If peace leaves, pause and listen. Heaven is not rushing you, but it is guiding you step by step. What is coming next will help you recognize the exact moment when movement becomes visible and how to respond without self-sabotage. This is where discernment becomes protection and wisdom becomes acceleration. Stay present. The unfolding is already in motion. Beloved one, now we enter the phase where clarity replaces anticipation. This is the moment when signs stop being subtle and begin to align in patterns you can no longer ignore. Archangel Michael is not only guarding what has been released, he is also guiding your awareness so you do not misinterpret what is unfolding. Many people miss their moment not because nothing happens, but because they misunderstand how it happens. Breakthrough rarely arrives as a single dramatic event. More often, it arrives as a sequence of confirmations. You may notice opportunities presenting themselves without force. Conversations will open doors that used to be closed. Information you need will surface at the exact moment you need it. This is not coincidence. This is orchestration. Heaven is arranging circumstances in your favor, not by bending rules, but by aligning timing. And here is what you must understand deeply. Acceleration does not always feel fast. Sometimes it feels orderly. Sometimes it feels calm. Sometimes it feels like things are simply falling into place without resistance. That is how you will know this is divine. Chaos demands attention. Grace commands authority. Archangel Michael is ensuring that you move from reaction to intention. For too long, you had to respond to life instead of directing it. You were adjusting, adapting, compensating. That season trained you well, but it is ending. Now, you are being invited to choose proactively rather than defensively. This is why your discernment is sharpening. You will sense when to speak and when to remain silent. You will know when to move and when to wait. You will recognize which invitations are aligned and which are distractions disguised as opportunities. This inner knowing is not guesswork, it is wisdom settling in. But let me caution you about something important. As alignment increases, comparison may attempt to resurface. You may look at others and wonder why their progress seems louder, faster, or more visible. Do not fall into that trap. Visibility is not validation. Many people announce what they are chasing. Few quietly steward what they have already received. Your path is not meant to be noisy. It is meant to be effective. What is being built around you is stable, sustainable, and protected. This is why it may feel understated at first. Heaven is prioritizing longevity over spectacle. You are not being rushed into exposure. You are being established in authority. Archangel Michael specializes in protecting foundations. He ensures that what is built cannot be easily shaken. This is why patience is still required, but not the kind that feels like waiting in darkness. His patience is active. It involves preparation, clarity, and discipline. It means aligning your habits with where you are going, not where you have been. Ask yourself quietly, without judgment, does my daily life reflect the level I am stepping into? Small adjustments now will prevent major corrections later. This is also the season where boundaries become non-negotiable. You will no longer have the energy to explain yourself excessively. You will feel less inclined to justify your decisions. This is not withdrawal. It is focus. When assignment intensifies, unnecessary explanations gain power. Let your peace speak for you. Those who need to understand will understand in time. Those who resist your growth were never meant to walk with you into this next phase anyway. Archangel Michael is clearing your perimeter. He is removing subtle drains on your attention and emotional energy. Some connections may fade naturally. Some routines may lose relevance. Some desires may simply fall away. Do not mourn what exits quietly. It is making room for what must enter fully. And here is a truth that may surprise you. The check being referenced is not only external. Yes, provision will manifest tangibly. Yes, resources will shift. But the greater deposit has already been made internally. Confidence hath been credited to you. Authority hath been assigned. Vision has been clarified. These are the assets that ensure you handle the tangible wisely. Without them, abundance becomes burden. With them, abundance becomes blessing. You are being trusted because you are becoming trustworthy. And trustworthiness is proven in private long before it is rewarded in public. So remain attentive to your inner dialogue. Replace self-doubt with discernment. Replace urgency with intention. Replace old narratives with present truth. The story you told yourself during survival mode no longer applies. You are writing a new chapter now, and it requires a new voice. Speak to yourself with respect. Treat your time with honor. Approach decisions with prayer, not panic. Archangel Michael is not rushing you, but he is guiding you steadily forward. Each step is purposeful. Each delay is protective. Each confirmation is intentional. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be for what is unfolding next. The coming phase will require courage, not to fight, but to receive without guilt. Many people struggle more with receiving than with enduring. They feel unworthy of ease after long struggle. If that feeling surfaces, release it immediately. You do not earn grace by suffering endlessly. Grace is given because God is good. Let yourself accept good without suspicion. This is how you honor the giver. As you continue forward, stay grounded in gratitude. Gratitude anchors abundance. It keeps your heart soft while your position strengthens. And from that place, you will recognize the next signal clearly when it appears. What is approaching will confirm everything you have sensed so far. And when it does, you will not need reassurance. You will simply know. Remain steady. The alignment is holding. My beloved one, this is the stage where movement becomes visible, and because it becomes visible, it must also become guarded. Archangel Michael is especially attentive now, not because danger is increasing, but because influence is expanding. When something grows, it attracts attention. Not all attention is harmful, but not all of it is helpful either. This is where discernment becomes your shield. You may notice that people are suddenly curious about your plans, your progress, or your peace. Some will ask genuine questions. Others will probe subtly, trying to measure how far you have come. You are not required to explain everything. You are not obligated to reveal every detail. Wisdom knows when to speak and when silence is strength. This is not secrecy born from fear. This is stewardship born from maturity. Archangel Michael teaches restraint before revelation. He understands that timing protects value. What is still forming does not need to be defended. It needs to be allowed to mature. This is why you may feel prompted to slow your speech even as your life accelerates. Let your results speak when the time is right. Another important shift is happening within you, and it may feel unfamiliar. You are beginning to trust your decisions again. After seasons of second-guessing yourself, you are sensing clarity returning. This is not coincidence. Confidence is being restored because authority is being recognized internally. When you trust yourself, you move decisively. When you move decisively, momentum builds. This is why hesitation is being gently removed from your behavior. You are learning to pause for discernment, not for fear. There is a difference. Fear freezes it. Discernment filters. You are no longer frozen. Archangel Michael is pleased with this development. Now, let me speak to responsibility in this season. As provision and opportunity increase, so does your influence. People will watch how you handle growth. They will notice whether you become distant or grounded, inflated or generous, reactive or wise. This is not pressure. It is privilege. Influence is not something to fear. It is something to steward. Remain teachable. Remain grateful. Remain aligned. The moment you feel entitled, you disconnect from grace. But humility keeps the flow open. And humility does not mean shrinking yourself. It means acknowledging the source while honoring the assignment. There is also a call in this moment to strengthen the connection that feeds you spiritually. When something nourishes your discernment, sharpens your clarity, and confirms your direction, staying connected to that source matters. Supporting what pours into you is part of alignment. Engagement is not passive, it is participation. So if this message continues to resonate, acknowledge it. Let your presence be known. Share it with someone who is still questioning whether their season is changing. Stay connected so you do not miss what comes next. Subscribing, remaining part of this flow, choosing to stand with what strengthens your spirit. This is not routine, it is positioning. Momentum favors the consistent. Those who drift often miss transitions. And let me gently remind you of something crucial. This journey is not meant to be walked alone. Heaven often uses community to confirm calling. When you comment, when you engage, when you support what speaks to you, you are aligning yourself with others who are moving in the same direction. That alignment matters more than you realize. Isolation weakens clarity. Connection strengthens it. Now, as things begin to accelerate externally, do not abandon the inner practices that sustained you during waiting seasons. Prayer, reflection, gratitude, and stillness must remain non-negotiable. Growth does not replace grounding, it requires it. Archangel Michael is ensuring that your inner life remains stable as your outer life expands. This balance is what allows blessings to last rather than burn out. Many people rise quickly and fall just as fast because they neglect the internal while celebrating the external. You will not make that mistake because you have learned patience, and patience is now becoming precision. Let me prepare you for the next shift. Soon, you will be asked to choose not between good and bad, but between good and best. Both options will look appealing. Both will seem aligned. But only one will carry peace without pressure. That is the one you must choose. Pressure is not a sign of destiny. Peace is. This is where many people become confused. They mistake urgency for calling. But Archangel Michael will never rush you into compromise. He leads firmly, not frantically. If something demands panic, it is not from heaven. What is from heaven may challenge you, but it will not destabilize you. So listen carefully to your spirit in the coming days. Pay attention to what feels anchored rather than exciting. Stability is the new confirmation. As this part of the message draws to a close, let me say this clearly and lovingly. What you are stepping into is not fragile and does not depend on perfection. It does not collapse because of minor mistakes. It is resilient because it is rooted in obedience. But awareness remains essential. So stay present. Stay engaged. Stay connected. Hold on, because what unfolds next will reveal why certain doors are opening simultaneously, and how to choose the one that leads to lasting increase without regret. Beloved one, now we arrive at a moment of discernment that feels quieter than you expected, yet far more decisive than anything you have faced before. This is the stage where Archangel Michael is not clearing enemies or blocking attacks, but refining your perception. What determines the outcome from here is not what happens around you, but how accurately you interpret what is happening within you. You are standing at a convergence point. Multiple paths are aligning at once, and each carries potential. This is why confusion may attempt to whisper, not loudly, but subtly. You might feel an unusual pause inside, as if time itself has slowed down. This is not hesitation. This is precision being activated. Heaven slows you down when accuracy matters more than speed. In earlier seasons, movement itself was progress. Any door felt better than none. Any option felt like relief. But now, not every open door is yours to walk through. Some are opportunities to observe. Some are invitations meant for someone else. Some are tests to see whether you will choose familiarity over assignment. Archangel Michael is watching how you choose. Not to judge you, but to confirm alignment. You may notice that one option brings excitement mixed with pressure. It looks impressive. It promises fast results. It appeals to the part of you that wants to finally prove something. But beneath the excitement, there is tension. A subtle feeling that you would have to rush, perform, or compromise peace to maintain it. Another option may feel quieter, less dramatic, less validating to the outside world. But when you sit with it, your breathing deepens. Your thoughts settle. There is no rush, only clarity. That is not coincidence. That is confirmation. Peace is no longer a reward you receive after choosing correctly. Peace is the guide that tells you what is correct. This is a new way of operating for you, and it requires trust. You are learning to trust the still, steady signal rather than the loud, urgent one. This shift alone will protect you from years of unnecessary struggle. Let me speak to the fear that may still surface. You might worry that choosing the quieter path means missing out, that if you do not act fast, the moment will pass, that if you do not seize everything, you will lose momentum. These thoughts come from an old survival mindset that believed opportunity was scarce. Opportunity is no longer scarce for you. Alignment has replaced scarcity. What is meant for you will not require you to abandon your values, your health, or your peace. What is meant for you will cooperate with your life, not consume it. Archangel Michael ensures this balance because burnout is not a badge of honor in heaven. You are not being called to exhaust yourself. You are being called to steward well. As clarity sharpens, you may also notice a change in how you relate to time. You are less frantic about deadlines that once controlled you. You are more intentional with your schedule. You no longer feel the need to fill every gap with activity. This is maturity settling in. You are no longer afraid of stillness because stillness now brings insight, not anxiety. This is a sign of healing. Another sign you may notice is restraint in your reactions. Things that once triggered you no longer do. Comments that once unsettled you no longer carry weight. This does not mean you have become indifferent. It means your identity is stabilizing. You are no longer seeking external confirmation for internal truth. Archangel Michael strengthens identity before expanding influence. Because influence without identity leads to collapse. You are being fortified now. Let me also prepare you for a subtle temptation that can arise at this stage. You may feel the urge to explain yourself more than necessary, to justify your choices, to make sure others understand why you are moving the way you are moving. This urge comes from a desire to be seen accurately. Release it. Those who are meant to understand will not need explanations. Those who demand explanations are often uncomfortable with change they cannot control. Silence, when guided by wisdom, is not avoidance. It is authority. You do not owe everyone access to your process. Some things are meant to be revealed only after they are complete. Archangel Michael honors discretion. He protects what is not prematurely exposed. As you navigate this convergence point, remember that you are not alone. Guidance is active. Protection is in place. Even when you feel unsure, you are being led. Trust does not mean you never question. It means you move forward even when clarity unfolds step by step rather than all at once. This is how sustainable progress is built. One obedient decision at a time. One peaceful choice at a time. One aligned step at a time. You may not yet see the full picture, but you are standing in the correct frame. The image will sharpen as you continue forward. Do not demand the entire map when the next step is already illuminated. Archangel Michael does not overwhelm with information. He provides exactly what is needed for the moment. So stay present. Stay attentive. Stay grounded. The next phase will bring confirmation that your choice was correct, not through noise, but through stability, through ease, through doors opening without resistance. And when that happens, you will realize that discernment, not urgency, was a true key all along. Remain steady. What is forming now will soon become undeniable. My beloved one, this is the phase where confirmation no longer comes only through inner peace, but through visible alignment in the outer world. What you have sensed privately now begins to echo publicly, not in noise, but in consistency. Archangel Michael is standing firm in the stage because this is where many people either solidify their position or quietly drift back into old patterns without realizing it. What is happening now is stabilization. The emotional highs and lows that once defined your journey are leveling out. You are no longer swinging between hope and disappointment. Instead, there is a steady awareness growing inside you, a calm certainty that does not need constant reassurance. This is one of the clearest signs that a transfer is holding. Stability is heaven's confirmation. You may notice that solutions are appearing where problems used to linger. Issues that once strained you emotionally now resolve with minimal effort. This does not mean challenges disappear entirely, but they no longer dominate your attention. You address them, learn from them, and move forward without carrying their weight. This is maturity in motion. Archangel Michael strengthens this phase because consistency requires protection. It is easy to believe when everything feels intense. It is harder to remain aligned when life becomes normal again. This is where discipline replaces emotion, and intention replaces impulse. Let me speak to something very important now. You are entering a season where reliability matters more than passion. Passion ignites beginnings. Reliability sustains outcomes. You have already proven your passion through endurance. Now, heaven is watching how you steward rhythm, how you show up consistently, how you maintain integrity when no one is applauding. These quiet disciplines are what allow the blessing to expand without collapsing under its own weight. You may also experience a shift in how others treat you. Some will approach you with respect they did not show before. Others may feel unsettled by your calm confidence. This is not something you need to manage. Let people adjust. You do not need to shrink to make others comfortable with your growth. Archangel Michael does not ask you to dim what God has lit. At the same time, humility remains essential. Growth is not permission to harden. Stay kind. Stay grounded. Stay aware that everything you are stepping into is entrusted, not owned. Gratitude keeps the channel open. And now listen closely. This is also a season of reinforcement. What feeds your spirit regularly becomes even more important. Messages that confirm truth, communities that encourage alignment, and spaces that sharpen your discernment are no longer optional. They are necessary. When momentum builds, consistency and spiritual nourishment protects clarity. If this message hath been guiding you, remain connected. Engagement is not accidental, it is relational. When you respond, when you support, when you stay aligned with what strengthens you, you position yourself to continue receiving instruction at the right time. Isvanekanova leads to confusion. Consistency leads to clarity. Now, let me prepare you for a subtle but powerful change. Your desires are refining. Things you once wanted intensely may no longer excite you. This is not loss of ambition. It is elevation of vision. You are beginning to desire outcomes that align with peace, purpose, and longevity rather than recognition alone. This shift ensures that what you build will last beyond initial success. Archangel Michael oversees this refinement carefully. He removes excess so focus can sharpen. He simplifies vision so energy is not wasted. This is not reduction. It is concentration. And concentration multiplies impact. As this part of the journey settles, there is a spiritual response being invited. Recognition must be voiced. Agreement must be declared. Not because heaven needs to hear it, but because you need to anchor it within yourself. Spoken alignment reinforces internal authority. So if this message confirms what you have been sensing, respond with intention. Type "I stand in alignment" in the comments if this resonates deeply with you. Blessing code 1441 is now activated. As this season stabilizes and your spirit recognizes the confirmation, hear this call clearly. God is using this flow to reach hearts that are still standing at the edge of their breakthrough, unsure whether to trust the moment. The Lord declares, "Those who water others will themselves be watered without measure." When you release support through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are sowing into a living stream, not a platform. I am speaking directly to those who feel the nudge. This is a prophetic act of obedience, not a casual gesture. Your seed becomes light, direction, and hope for someone still waiting for clarity. I release blessing over every giver, calling forth increase, protection, and peace. Act now. Line your giving with the move of God unfolding here. My beloved one, now you are entering a phase that few recognize while they are inside it, yet it determines the quality of everything that follows. This is the season of quiet authority. Archangel Michael is especially present here because authority without noise requires strength that is rooted, not reactive. What is forming in you now is not excitement, but confidence that does not need to announce itself. You may notice that your responses are changing. Situations that once demanded emotional energy now receive calm clarity instead. You are no longer rushing to correct, defend, or explain. You are observing more, listening more, and speaking with intention. This is not passivity. This is command. Authority speaks less because it knows it does not need to prove itself. This shift may feel unfamiliar. For a long time, effort felt like safety. If you tried harder, spoke more, pushed further, you felt in control. But now control is being replaced with trust, and effort is being replaced with precision. You are learning that doing less, when aligned, produces more. Archangel Michael honors restraint. Restraint protects momentum. Another sign of this phase is how you handle disappointment. When something does not go as planned, you recover faster. You do not spiral. You do not internalize it as failure. You adjust, recalibrate, and continue forward without losing peace. This resilience is not emotional numbness. It is spiritual grounding. Grounded people are dangerous to chaos. You are becoming grounded. There is also a noticeable shift in your expectations of others. You are no longer shocked when people act according to their capacity rather than your hope. This does not make you cynical. It makes you realistic. You are learning to place expectations wisely, which prevents unnecessary hurt and preserves energy for what truly matters. Archangel Michael teaches discernment without bitterness. You are embodying that lesson now. Let me speak to the inner recalibration happening beneath the surface. You are redefining success. It is no longer measured only by speed, visibility, or external validation. It is being measured by sustainability, peace, and alignment. This redefinition ensures that what you build does not collapse under pressure. Many people rise quickly and burn out because they chase outcomes they are not prepared to sustain. You are being prepared to sustain. This preparation may feel slow to the impatient observer, but it is exact. Heaven is not in a hurry because heaven sees the full timeline. You are not being delayed. You are being fortified. And fortification is invisible until pressure arrives. When pressure comes, what is fortified stands. You may also notice a shift in your prayer life. Your prayers are becoming less frantic and more focused. You are not begging for clarity anymore. You are listening for confirmation. This is a sign of spiritual maturity, You trust that guidance is available, and you are learning to receive it without panic. Archangel Michael responds quickly to calm authority. He does not respond to desperation. Now, let me address a subtle challenge that can arise in this phase. As stability increases, boredom may try to masquerade as restlessness. You might feel an urge to create movement simply to feel something happening. Resist this urge. Not every quiet moment requires action. Sometimes stillness is the evidence that things are working exactly as they should. Do not confuse peace with stagnation. Peace is productivity without noise. Another important development is happening in your relationships. You are attracting people who respect your boundaries rather than test them. Conversations are becoming more direct, more honest, and less emotionally charged. This is because you are modeling clarity. People respond to the level of clarity you embody. This is leadership, even if you do not label it that way. Archangel Michael strengthens leaders quietly before positioning them publicly. You are in that strengthening phase. There may also be moments when you look back at earlier versions of yourself and feel compassion rather than regret. You see how much you have grown. You recognize the wisdom gained through difficulty. This reflection is not meant to pull you backward. It is meant to anchor gratitude. Gratitude keeps you grounded in the present rather than trapped in the past. Honor who you were, but do not return there. As this phase continues, you will notice that outcomes begin to align with less resistance. Things that once required effort now require agreement. You are no longer forcing doors open. You are walking through doors that are already ajar. This is alignment at work. Archangel Michael does not force doors. He guards the right ones. This is also a time to remain vigilant about your inner dialogue. Old narratives may attempt to resurface, especially during quiet moments. Thoughts like, what if this doesn't last? Or what if I mess this up? Are echoes of former seasons. Acknowledge them without entertaining them. You do not need to argue with expired fears. Simply outgrow them. Confidence does not shout. It settles. You are settling now. Let me say this clearly. You are not waiting for permission anymore. Permission has already been granted. What you are learning now is how to move without seeking constant confirmation. This is the mark of someone who trusts their alignment. Archangel Michael trusts those who trust the process. As you stand in this phase of quiet authority, remain attentive but not anxious. Remain open but not impressionable. Remain humble but not small. Balance is your strength now. What is coming next will require this balance, because expansion is approaching, not sudden, not chaotic, but deliberate and lasting. When it arrives, you will be ready not because you rushed, but because you remained steady. Stay grounded. The foundation is holding. My beloved one, this is the stage where alignment must be maintained intentionally, because momentum has reached a point where small choices carry amplified consequences. Archangel Michael is attentive here not because something is fragile, but because something is powerful. Power that is not guided becomes scatter. Power that is stewarded becomes legacy. You are no longer in preparation mode. You are in implementation mode. What you have learned, refined, and stabilized internally now begins to express itself through consistent action. This does not mean dramatic moves or public announcements. It means disciplined follow-through. It means honoring commitments. It means doing what you said you would do, even when no one is watching. This is where trust is built. Not just trust from others, but trust within yourself. You are proving to yourself that you can handle progress without sabotaging it, that you can remain grounded while moving forward, that you can carry responsibility without losing peace. These are not small achievements. They are the markers of someone who is ready for sustained increase. Archangel Michael reinforces this stage by strengthening your resolve. You may notice that distractions no longer pull you as easily. Time-wasting habits feel less appealing. You are becoming more selective with your energy because you recognize its value. This is not rigidity. It is respect for your assignment. You are learning that saying no is sometimes the most powerful yes you can offer to your future. Another shift you may notice is consistency in your emotional state. You are not easily shaken by external opinions. Praise does not inflate you. Criticism does not dismantle you. This emotional steadiness is essential for what is ahead, because expansion always brings voices. Some will celebrate you. Some will misunderstand you. Some will project their own fears onto your growth. Your job is not to manage their reactions. Your job is to remain aligned. Archangel Michael does not ask you to defend your calling. He asks you to live it with integrity. This is also the season where reinforcement through community becomes vital. Staying connected to what sharpens you is no longer optional. When a message feeds you, grounds you, and keeps you aligned, remaining engaged with it matters. Consistency protects clarity. Disconnect and breeds confusion. So if this flow continues to resonate, acknowledge it. Engage with it. Let your presence be known. When you like, comment, share, and stay subscribed, you are not performing a routine. You are choosing to stay positioned. When you support what pours into you spiritually, you keep yourself connected to instruction that arrives on time. Momentum is sustained by engagement. Those who drift off and say later, "I did see it coming," but you are seeing clearly now. You may also feel a growing sense of responsibility, not pressure, but ownership. You understand that what you do next matters, that your choices have ripple effects beyond yourself. This awareness is a sign of leadership emerging. Leadership is not about control, it is about stewardship. Archangel Michael develops stewards before he elevates leaders. This is why integrity is emphasized again and again. Integrity is alignment between what you believe, what you say, and what you do. When those three agree, authority flows naturally. When they conflict, authority leaks. You are learning to keep them aligned. There may still be moments of uncertainty, but they no longer paralyze you. You move forward thoughtfully, prayerfully, and decisively. You are no longer waiting for perfect conditions. You are working with what you have, trusting that clarity increases with movement. This is wisdom in action. Now let me prepare you for something important. As things stabilize and grow, routine may attempt to dull your awareness. Familiarity can make you forget how far you have come. Do not allow routine to turn gratitude into autopilot. Remain aware. Remain thankful. Gratitude keeps your heart soft and your vision clear. Even now, pause internally and acknowledge how much has shifted already. You are not who you were, and you will not return there. Archangel Michael ensures that when growth becomes normal, humility remains active. Humility does not mean shrinking. It means staying aware of the source while honoring the assignment. This balance keeps pride from distorting perception. As this phase continues, you will begin to sense that something is approaching, not abruptly, but steadily. A convergence of opportunity, readiness, and timing. You do not need to chase it. You need to recognize it when it arrives. This is why staying attentive matters. Hold on, because what unfolds next brings clarity to why this entire journey required patience, restraint, and consistency. You will see the pattern clearly, and when you do, everything will make sense. My beloved one, now you are standing in a moment that feels surprisingly ordinary on the surface, yet spiritually profound beneath it. This is the stage where many expect fireworks, announcements, or sudden applause, but heaven works differently. Archangel Michael is present here not to initiate chaos, but to confirm permanence. What is being established now is meant to last, and lasting things rarely arrive loudly. This is the season of quiet fulfillment. You may notice that instead of longing for what is next, you are settling into what is now. There is a sense of rightness, a subtle alignment between your inner world and your outer life. Things are not perfect, but they are coherent. You wake up with direction rather than dread. You move through your days with intention rather than survival instinct. This is not accidental. This is the result of every lesson, delay, and refinement you endured. Archangel Michael guards fulfillment carefully, because fulfillment can be misunderstood. Some mistake fulfillment for complacency. Others mistake it for the end of growth. But fulfillment is neither. Fulfillment is stability that creates space for expansion without strain. It is the ability to enjoy what has been built while remaining open to what will be added. You are learning to hold contentment and ambition together. This balance is rare. Many people chase endlessly because they never allow themselves to arrive. Others stop moving because they fear losing what they have. You are being taught a better way. A way where gratitude fuels progress instead of replacing it. This is why your desires feel cleaner now. They are no longer driven by comparison or compensation. They are shaped by purpose. You want what aligns, not what impresses. You choose what sustains, not what drains. This discernment did not appear overnight. It was forged through seasons where you had to choose faith without evidence and obedience without applause. Now the evidence is forming, and it is steady. You may notice that your relationship with uncertainty has changed. Unknowns no longer terrify you. They invite curiosity rather than fear. You trust that guidance will come when needed, not all at once, but step by step. This trust is one of the clearest signs that fear no longer governs your decisions. Archangel Michael recognizes this shift. Fear once kept you vigilant. Now wisdom keeps you grounded. Another sign of this stage is your reaction to delay. When something does not move immediately, you do not assume rejection. You assume timing. This perspective protects your peace and preserves your energy. You no longer internalize every pause as a personal failure. This is emotional maturity. You are also becoming more aware of legacy. Not legacy in the sense of recognition, but impact. You think about how your choices affect others, how your example speaks even when you are silent. This awareness does not burden you, it anchors you. You understand that influence is already flowing through you, whether you seek it or not. Archangel Michael strengthens those who understand influence quietly, because quiet influence shapes cultures. As this phase deepens, you may find yourself reflecting on how improbable this alignment once seemed. There were moments when you doubted you would ever reach this sense of stability. Moments when you questioned whether the waiting had meaning. Now, without dramatic fanfare, the meaning is becoming obvious. The waiting shaped you. The delay refined you. The silence strengthened you. Nothing was wasted. This realization may bring a wave of gratitude that feels heavier than excitement. Gratitude that humbles you. Gratitude that steadies you. Gratitude that reminds you how carefully this journey has been guided. Stay with it. Gratitude is a safer. Let me also prepare you for something subtle. As fulfillment settles in, there may be an urge to share everything, to explain the journey, to validate the process publicly. Resist the urge to overshare. Not everyone needs access to your testimony, while it is still unfolding. Some stories are meant to be told later, when perspective is complete. Archangel Michael honors discretion. Discretion protects depth. You are not hiding. You are stewarding. And stewardship requires restraint. There is also a strengthening happening in your ability to say no without guilt. Invitations, requests, and expectations that do not align will no longer tug at your conscience. You understand now that saying no to misalignment is saying yes to purpose. This clarity preserves momentum. Momentum is precious. Do not spend it explaining yourself to those who are committed to misunderstanding you. Now listen carefully. What hath been established cannot be undone by minor mistakes. You are not walking on a fragile path. This foundation is resilient. It allows for learning, adjustment, and growth. Perfection is not required. Presence is. Be present. Be honest. Be aligned. Archangel Michael is not monitoring you for failure. He is guarding you for continuity. Continuity is what allows blessings to mature into legacy. You are being protected from extremes, both despair and arrogance, so that you remain balanced. Balance is your strength now. As you move forward, do not rush the next chapter. Let it unfold naturally. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not missing anything. What is meant to expand will do so at the right pace. And when the next movement comes, it will not feel forced. It will feel inevitable. Stay grounded in this awareness. The journey is not ending. It is stabilizing. And stability is what allows increase to endure. What comes next will seal everything that has been unfolding. And when it does, you will understand why timing mattered so much. My beloved one, this is the moment where everything settles into truth. Not excitement, not anticipation, not even expectation, but truth. Archangel Michael is present now in a way that is calm, resolute, and final. This is not the end of a journey. It is the sealing of an identity. What was once a promise has become position. What was once prayer has become posture. You are no longer standing at the edge. You are standing within. This is why there is no rush in your spirit anymore. No frantic need to prove, convince, or accelerate. You know now. And knowing brings rest. Not the rest of disengagement, but the rest of assurance. The kind of rest that allows you to move forward without dragging yesterday behind you. This is what it means to be established. Archangel Michael does not celebrate loudly in moments like this. He confirms quietly. Because confirmation does not need witnesses. It needs permanence. What hath been transferred to you is no longer vulnerable to interruption. It has passed inspection. It has cleared resistance. It hath been integrated into who you are becoming. The check was never just about provision. It was about permission. Permission to move without apology. Permission to receive without guilt. Permission to lead without fear. You have stepped into a season where obedience has become instinct rather than effort. You no longer wrestle internally the way you used to. Decisions feel clearer. Direction feels steadier. Even when challenges appear, they do not shake your sense of calling. They feel like assignments, not threats. This is spiritual authority matured. You may notice now that people respond to you differently. Some will seek your counsel. Others will feel exposed by your clarity. This is not something you need to manage. Authority naturally reveals what is aligned and what is not. Your role is not to correct everyone, but to remain consistent in who you are. Consistency is what seals credibility. Archangel Michael honors consistency more than charisma. Another shift you may sense is freedom from outcome obsession. You are no longer measuring your worth by results alone. You trust the process because you have seen its faithfulness. This trust allows you to work diligently without anxiety. You plan without panic. You wait without resentment. You receive without suspicion. This is the posture of someone who understands covenant. Nothing that belongs to you can be stolen by delay. Nothing that is assigned to you can be taken by another. Nothing that God has authorized can be canceled by opinion. This is why fear no longer has leverage over you. Fear needs uncertainty to survive. Certainty has replaced it. Now let me speak to the final activation in this message. Recognition must become never-rain. Not because heaven needs it, but because declaration completes alignment. When you speak agreement, you anchor the truth within your spirit. This is how you close old doors permanently and step fully into the new. So if you know, deep within yourself, that this journey has marked you, if you feel the weight of confirmation rather than the rush of excitement, if you sense that something has truly shifted and cannot be undone, then respond. Type "I am established" in the comments if you receive this sealing. Blessing code 8088 is now released. As this final sealing settles upon you, hear this with clarity and authority. God did not allow this word to reach you alone. It flowed through a mission designed to awaken, align, and establish many who were standing at the threshold just like you. The Lord declares, "What you place in my hand, I will multiply beyond what you can see." When you give through Super Thanks, step into membership, or sow through the PayPal link in the description, you are not supporting a channel. You are advancing an assignment. I am calling those who feel the weight of obedience now. This is not generosity. This is destiny responding. Your seed becomes fire in the mouths of messengers and light in places still bound by delay. I release blessing, increase, and divine remembrance over every giver. Act now. Seal this word with action and watch heaven answer.